Let me tell you about this short-lived and forgotten film format. This whole adventure started during a normal thrift. In search of fairly priced old 35mm cameras or early digicams. We did find a couple point-and-shoots for under $5, most of them with corroded battery ports. But out of nowhere, at the bottom of a saver's bin of cables and keyboards, was a strange point-and-shoot Fuji camera that I had never seen before. This is the Fujifilm Endeavor. They had it priced at $10, but the clerk at the front offered me a senior discount on the item after asking her about any info she had on if it was in working order. So I guess I look old or something. And I know these cameras are obsolete and stuff, but it was so unique. The flash and the lens alone convinced me to pick it up anyway. In 1996, the first rolls of what would eventually be named the Advanced Photo System by Fujifilm were produced. And Kodak wasn't too far behind with their own APS.
The speech is always changing.
This system of film was meant as a replacement to the standard 35mm. And very quickly, as we all know, that failed. I grew up around this era, but I have almost no memory of this format. My mom still uses the same 35 point and shoot to this day, so it was never on my radar. APS, or Advanced Photo System, didn't fully die, but more like it was eaten, swallowed, and repackaged into the technology of early digital cameras. So, what does that mean for these forgotten pieces of tech? They're pretty much a glorified paperweight. You can't buy the film for them. Not anymore. They stopped producing the cartridges around 2006. That's right. These cameras took cartridges. And when you got those cartridges back from the lab, you weren't given a sheet of developed negatives, but were instead provided with the cartridge back in its original form, still intact. The gimmick was, 35 was too difficult, and dealing with all those loose negatives was a hassle. So, sliding in an easy-to-load system would inspire you to take more pictures. Not to mention the perspective. These cameras defaulted in 16:9 or panorama. And after looking through this lens, it's a shame this format didn't get a chance to take off. Most of the gear of that era were point-and-shoots. Some SLRs were built for this technology, but the entire industry got behind this change, all for it to eventually come crashing down in just a few years. So the question is, can you still shoot with these cameras? And the answer is a little up in the air. Because, yes, you absolutely can. Should you? Is probably the better question. I don't know if this is stupid, but we're going to shoot some expired film and hope that we can find a lab willing to develop them. This canister says 2004, but those are rookie numbers. We need to up those numbers. I'm not sure why, but at the end of this roll I hopped in my car to take pictures of this beachside castle that everyone's talking about. It was alright, I guess. But the steep rocks and the prom pictures all around being taken kind of ruined it. Some of the photos came out a little magenta, so I took some digital shots for comparison. And also did a correction of the colors to see how this shot might have looked if the film wasn't almost 20 years expired. The chemistry is clearly dated. The film has lost its vibrance. The colors are all over the place and muted. But there's something haunting and also mystical about these images. This effect could easily be duplicated by a number of different filters and apps today, but knowing it happened organically through the chemistry of film that's almost 20 years old is kinda cool. Now, will I shoot with this camera ever again? Probably not. But exposing myself to this strange era of photography history was worth the adventure. APS may not have taken off, but these images will be held dear to me regardless. And I couldn't have gotten them without digging my hand through the bottom of that bin. So, maybe just keep digging till you find something sexy. Or just go on eBay and buy what you really want.